Hello guys and welcome to Watching Time. Today we're going to discuss it's actually the latest piece that has arrived to my collection and something that I was really looking forward because it's actually the real news and new watches coming from Zodiac. So the ones of you guys that are following and follow my channel for a long time here, you know that I am a big fan of Zodiac. I have almost every new model. I have a big collection of Super Sea Wolves, and they are very rooted to their origins of the Super Sea Wolf in 1953, because as you know, this was one of the first divers, actually the first diver to be commercially available for everyone and every public. So it came out at the same time of the Submariner and of the 50 Phantoms. And it's a watch that make history in terms of diving watches. So when you talk nowadays about a skin diver, etc., they are all talking about what's rooted in the history of the Zodiac watches. So this is a fact. And this was one of the brands with a biggest history that has been revived during the last 20 years, more or less, after obviously the collapse after the Quartz watch, and now it's part of the Fossil group, but it's still independent. So we have been seeing very colorful options of Super Sea Wolf, so it's definitely a brand that that is not afraid of showcasing and showing watches that have something unique and different from the others. And this has always put Zodiac also onto my radar because I am looking for something else that it's more than what you're usually expecting on a black watch. I want watches in my collection that can really be part of something, of an adventure, of a particular day, of a way I am feeling that day, that it's not really related to that one black watch. So Zodiac works very well in that sense because they really offer a good amount of colors, and this is their newest watch. This is what we were waiting for, and my big question is, has really Zodiac stepped up to become a modern vintage diver watch? So we have seen this with all the other watches. So the 50 Phantoms is not the same as it was at its origin. The Submariner is definitely not the same. We have seen many changes in terms of the case, the locks, the measures that it has, the movements, obviously. In terms of Zodiac, we have seen little changes in terms of what they were reviving. So this is the first step they're taking to actually putting up a notch up the development of these divers and bring it actually to 2022, to this modern age. So let's see what I'm talking about. Obviously, vintage watches are, first of all, smaller watches than what we are used today in modern time. Modern time has brought an increase in terms of size of watches, and Zodiac has done the same with this new Super Sea Wolf Pro Diver. So this is what they're calling it. So first of all, they have increased the size, and the size increase of the case, it might be noticeable here right away. It is of a couple of millimeters, but these are going to greatly influence the way this watch is going to be sitting on your wrist. So it has become now 42. So we're going from 40 from the Super Sea Wolf. Some of the other models, like the Skin Diver, it's around 39 to 42. What else? The case has become a little bit thicker with respect to the other watches. They have changed the bracelet. Instead of a 5, let's say, Jubilee link, it's become a 7 link bracelet. Very nice, very well executed with pins, has never wore screw, with a butterfly clasp, very similar, actually exactly the same to the other butterfly clasp Zodiac does, with this kind of flexible extensive part at the closure, and the back case, as you can see, with the serials and the model number. But the biggest change are actually inside. So they have a step up also in terms of quality and characteristics. So the Super Seawolf, the classical one, it has always been a 200 meters watch, and it has never been certified ISO. So now what they have done is bring up the water resistance up to 300 meters and also bring out a certification of ISO. So now the Super Seawolf Pro Diver, and that also is around the name, it's an ISO 6425 2018 Standards Professional Diver Watch, and it has been certified for the 300 meters, and it has an ISO for the magnetic fields resistance, for the shock resistance, for the corrosion resistance, the legibility in low light, so this is guaranteed in this type of watches, and the water resistance, obviously, which is tested as they declare on the box on every watch. So I think this is really a really nice touch if you are going to be diving actually with these watches, something that I'm not going to be doing. So for me, it's something more. The other thing that you can notice that it's bringing a change is the chronometer. So they have COSC certified all of these new pro divers. So they have a COSC certification, but there's also a change in the movement. The movement is not anymore an STP, which is actually owned by the Fossil Group, but it's now a Sellita. It's a Sellita SW201, so it's not the latest models of Sellita, but yet it has all the guarantee, all the good things we know around Sellita. Furthermore, it is COSC certified. So that definitely is going to bring something better to the table and a movement that it's different from the usual STPs that they have been using. So we have a dramatic change in terms of the characteristics inside the watch and the characteristics also outside in terms of shape. So from my point of view, and this is what I was really looking forward to, it has actually bring the Super Seawolf to a modern time. I think this is very, very important. And in this particular version, but all the colorways, they are going to be having Luminova field bezel, but this particular model also has a Luminova dial. So if we bring the UV light, you will see how quickly it actually lights up, and you have the full Lume dial, the full Lume bezel in an orange tone, and obviously the markers that are going to be Lume, respectively in a BG9 Luminova. So I think this is as far as we go in terms of characteristics and what they're bringing new. Is it a win-win? I actually think it is, for at least for someone with my wrist size and that enjoys new divers. So this is a comparison with a normal Super Seawolf. Here we have the watermelon, and as you can see, there is a change in terms of thickness, definitely, but also a change in terms of the case. The bracelet, obviously this is a classical Jubilee, the bracelet has changed, and as you can see, there is a difference in terms of the size because of the 42 versus 40, but the difference is not that big, but it actually brings the watch to a more modern wearable, let's say, showcase. So this is how it looks on my 18 centimeters wrist, and as you can see, I think it works pretty well, but it's at the limit if you see in terms of my wrist size. So for me it's perfect. I'm used to the Submariner and the new sizes of the Rolex and other divers that are bigger on the size. For me this size works, and I think they have actually managed to bring the Super Seawolf in an option, because you're still going to be finding these ones that are actually smaller in terms of case and more vintage re-editions, or inspired. I wouldn't say inspired, they're actually more like the real vintage piece. It's still on sale because they're going to be selling them, but the Pro Diver is bringing that extra notch of modernness. Is it for everyone? Probably not. It's not going to be probably for everyone. I know many people will keep with the normal Super Seawolves, but definitely it's going to bring something new to the table. The certifications, the movement, the size, the new dial, because it's actually a new dial compared to the one used on the usual Super Seawolves. The absence of the date that I really enjoy because I like clean dials, and for me and for myself, I think it really brings a pretty nice addition to my collection that some of you already know. Maybe I will do a video on this on the other on another video, so that you have also an idea of what are the latest additions that I had. This is just the sherbet for you to see the difference in color. So it's not even the same point of orange. This is a more neon kind of orange, and it's also Lume. This is not. So anyway, guys, hope you like the video. Hope you like this new edition. If you were wondering how it looked and how it was, I think this is an excellent option. So talk to you soon, guys. Until then, take care. Bye bye.